morning, everybody. I guess we have to keep having donuts at these meetings. That really brings everybody out. We have a really packed agenda today. Steph, if you want to go to the next slide. So I'm going to tell you about the employees of the month. I'm going to give an update on the leak on the BC side of this building. Sibby was going to do it, but our insurance adjuster came back. So you're going to get the non-maintenance version of what's going on with the leaks on the BC side. I'm going to talk a little bit about removing the bus railings. Dennis is going to come up and give a financial update for the year-end numbers. And then I'm going to turn it over to Teresa to do our refresher on the preferred dining program. So the update on we'll start with employees of the month. So the employee of the month for independent living is Kayla Waters from Activities. Yay, Kayla. For assisted living in the Arbors, it's McKaylin Harvey, and she is a care associate. She actually works at the Inn at Plaza West. And then for Plaza West, it's Romaldo Reyes, maintenance technician. You may have seen Romaldo around. He comes up and helps out in this building too once in a while. So congratulations to those employees of the month. So I'll give a little update on the leak on the BC side. So I've walked the BC side 3 times now, and I know it's a mess. We're slowly getting rid of buckets and dehumidifiers and fans. They're not all removed yet. So we still have a few valves that are leaking on that side, and they will be replacing those valves tomorrow. So the hot water will be turned off at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning on the BC side. It will be back on at 5 p.m. assuming all goes well. Once we have everything repaired and replaced that needs to be done, we'll be working on the remediation. And actually the remediation has already started. So everything is dry, pretty much. And then we have 2 resident apartments that were impacted pretty significantly, and one is almost completely new flooring and everything that needed to be replaced is in, and we're hopeful that that particular resident can be back in her apartment on Friday. And the other apartment that was impacted, the resident is out of state currently, so we'll be working on that one next to have that ready for when she gets back. So once all that's done, we're going to assess. Most of the baseboards are going to be replaced. We have some drywall that's going to be replaced. Carpet's going to be professionally cleaned. We're hopeful that this is just, that it's only going to take a few weeks yet to get everything exactly back the way we want it. There is a large pipe on the 7th floor that we think we might be replacing, and I don't know the impact of what that's going to be. I know it's a large pipe and it's bent and it doesn't look the way it's supposed to, so we want to go ahead and get that replaced while we're going through all these different things on that side. So we will certainly keep you updated as we go through this process of putting everything back together. Just a comment on the status of removing the bus railings. I know Jeff had the Administrative Services Committee last week go out and check out the bus with the railings and using the step stool. We've also worked with some residents here in this building as well as down at Gulfview Terrace. We have some unplanned people out this week due to illness, so we had to push back some of the scheduled times for the GBT residents to try out the bus without the railings, but we'll make sure we get everybody in that wants to try it out this week. So if you have not had an opportunity to check out the bus with the handrails and the step stool and you would like to see that and see if you're able to maneuver that, you can call the transportation office and we'll make sure you get the opportunity to do that. And for those of you who are not going to be able to use the step stool and the hand railings, we are going to make sure you're accommodated. So I know one of the plans is that we are going to have a wheelchair on the bus. And so if you are unable to get up using the step stool, we will put the ramps down and get you on using a wheelchair. So I've met with some residents individually, and we're working through their challenges and make sure they're able to get wherever they need to go on our buses after we get all the railings taken off. So, but the feedback I've heard so far is that it's not as bad as people thought it was going to be. So that's good. And I know I've had some questions, well, what's this going to do to the GVT dinner bus? Is it going to make it longer? If we have to put people on in a wheelchair using the ramps? Probably. But I don't know, we don't know what we don't know. So it's gonna be, once we figure out the actual number of residents that we're gonna have to use the wheelchair and ramp for, we can probably better guess the timing of what that looks like. But I don't think it's gonna be a large number based on what I'm hearing so far. So as we go through that process, I will keep you informed as well. And now I'm going to call Dennis up. He's going to give us a financial update for the year-end numbers.
Hello everybody, Happy New Year. Say Happy New Year, we're already halfway through January. So here we go, right? So if you take a look at last year, where we finished up, independent living, out of our 425 units available, we had 375 occupied, 88% occupancy with 529 residents. We came really close to 90%, and then right at the end, slipped back a little bit. We had a number of move-outs, transfers or whatever, but that we finished at 88%. Assisted living finished at 96% with 80 out of 83 units and 98 residents. Memory care, we finished 91% with 25.5 out of 28 occupied, 25.5 out of 28 units and 30 residents. And then finally, health center finished at average census of 101.8 out of 113 units for 90%, and we had 100 residents. So again, hoping we could have broken and kept the 90% on IL, but here's 2024, right? And then in terms of our financial performance for the year, obviously we want to get our revenues as high as we can, and the controllable expense areas, we want to cut those like a weed whacker when we can, and just make sure we're spending our money, the right way. In terms of our revenues, we missed by $139,000 in total. Most of this is due to skilled nursing, but when you factor in, we've discussed it a couple of times before, if you factor in the life care discounts, we actually would have come in over budget for revenues. Again, it's a little more complicated area, but it's an area in our budget we've corrected in 2024, but if that same approach had been used in 2023, this actually would be showing over in revenue. But we had 40.7 total against a budget of 40.9. Our expenses, we ended up coming in 332,000 under budget. Do I have that right? I'm sorry. Over budget. Under budget. So we ended up finishing the year with an NOI beating budget by 194,000. A lot of that was due to some our expenses came in below budget on some of our general liability claims, risk assessment type claims. So that helped us out to offset some of the other areas. So we finished with a positive NOI variance, and we're hoping for a positive 2024. Yeah, so that's actually one of the big improvements we had in 2023. We started, as you know, agency nursing started back when COVID started. Was a huge challenge when I came in. Significant improvement had already been made. We continued throughout the year to try to get rid of that, and by, I think it was like October, November, December, it's gone completely. So that has been a huge item crossed off the list. And then, like I said, in terms of skilled nursing, we've made some adjustments to the budget. So it's going to be a more accurate metric going forward that I think it's going to help us in our revenues this next year.
Hi, can we get an update on where we came out with the capital budget? I know there was a list of requests, but what did we get and what did we not get?
I'll take that for Dennis. So we actually just got our approved capital budget, I think the end of last week. So we got approved for a little over $4 million of capital money for this year. We did not get approved for the renovation. The renovation is probably close to a $10 million project. So we just aren't in a place right now to do a $10 million project. What we did get approved for, we got approved for some vehicles, which was number 2 on the list. So that's good news, and I know Jeff is already working on procuring those vehicles. We also got approved for things that I like to call, to me, they're not quite as sexy as a renovation. But we got some new roofs at GVT, we got new roofs at Plaza West and at Assisted Living and the Arbors. And then we, I apologize because I don't remember the whole list, but there's about 20 different things that we were approved for, that we submitted for. And I can have Sibby, we can put a little list together and send it out with the memo tomorrow. But I know it's a lot of infrastructure things, new ACs, other things that we have to focus on that keep us running efficiently and maybe not having leaks and other fun stuff that we've endured here the last few weeks in this building. So a little over $4 million of capital projects, and we'll send out the detail on that with the memo tomorrow. And I also know that the new carpet for the pub will be here next week. So we'll be able to put that in, and then it's gonna look real nice with the new furniture in there, so.
Angie, in the revenue column, the other item, can you enumerate for us what some of those other items are? It's a $500,000
Sure.
differential.
So some of that is golf course revenue. Ron's done a really great job in working on building the revenue at the golf course. The other large item that's in there is interest income. So we did not budget any interest income this year, and we had a few $100,000 of interest income. So I was actually talking to Dennis about that this morning. That's also been adjusted in our budget for 2024. So, budgeting isn't an exact science, and we always realize something that maybe wasn't accounted for in that planning phase. So where we saw some misses this year in our budget, we've corrected for 2024, but I'm sure there'll be new ones this year that we didn't think of. But we're hopeful that we have a real good, accurate budget this year and have the opportunity to do really well. And just as an aside, if there's anything on here you want more detailed information on, I know Dennis provides detailed financial statements to the finance committee and also a few other residents. So if that's something you're interested in looking at, you can just give Dennis a call and he's happy to provide that information and answer any questions you have. Yeah, Marty?
Could we get a copy of the slide on the screen with our Wednesday memo?
Sure. Well, I actually copied some of this entire presentation, and they're at Stephanie's desk right now. But we can also send it out with the Wednesday memo tomorrow if you don't want to kill trees.
I was just wondering if it was possible for someone to go through the finances with the new dining plan, level for their confusion of where the money's coming from, there's no money for this month and so on.
Yeah. So it's questions about the dining program and the amount of the declining balance and where that money comes from. And I want to, and we'll touch on that. I'm going to kind of tee Teresa up before she comes up here to go through it. So I'll cover that in a second.
Hi.
I just heard you say that we're not going to have the money in the budget for the renovation of this building. So I and many other people are disappointed. Is there any money where you can at least spruce this place up? And by that I mean, we are in bad need of paint. The baseboards in the hallways are atrocious. The carpeting, my concern with the carpeting right now is mold. And you can dry and dry and dry out this wet condition. I don't know how long the water's been leaking, but I bet you any money it's been leaking. And now we're gonna talk about mold. I have permission because Jim Brown talked to me the other day. He can't be here. He said, Penny, I started coughing so bad, and I don't have a lung problem, thank God. Saturday, I couldn't stop it. I almost had to call for help. Something's going through the air. There's no filters. It's seeping through the doors. You know, we are ingesting it. But getting back, okay, that's that. I just wanted to give you that message. Getting back to spiffying up this place. Can't we afford money to paint?
No, yes, we can.
We can't.
Yeah. So we should be on a regular schedule, and I'm not saying we are, I'm saying should. Be on a regular schedule to be touching up baseboards, touching up paint, painting something if it needs to be painted. We have a painter on staff, so that's something I'll work with Civvy on to make sure that we're doing a better job keeping up with it.
But Angie, I'm not talking about touch-up, I'm talking about paint. Paint the walls.
Yeah,
The hallways, I mean, I'm embarrassed. My family comes and they're like, you know, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. I don't like being negative. I think you know me, that I don't wanna just be negative. Talking about the new bar, the food is terrific. Everybody is bragging up the food. I am one of them. It's being done piecemeal. I like the fact you got new chairs, you got nice tables, but how about painting the wall? The wall, again, is old wallpaper. They could kills it. Very inexpensive. I could do it. I could kills it and paint it and make it really look, you know, it's all putting bandages on major surgery. People are complaining because the bar stools are too high. They can't get up on them. You gotta jump up. Not everybody can jump. So it's just, again, I'm a messenger.
yeah.
Again, the food is wonderful.
Well, glad you enjoy the food at the sports bar. So we will continue to work on those things, and I agree, like, we don't want to piecemeal projects, but if we're not getting the renovation, we want to do what we can do this year, and we will continue to do that. So I will continue to talk to my boss, Mary, and Civvy, and try to come up with a plan for what we can do in the meantime. I actually had a conversation with another resident about something similar last Friday, so we are working on those types of things. And with that, I'm gonna, oh, go ahead.
Good morning, Angie.
Good morning.
This is Ruth Johnson from GBT. Since we are approved for what I heard, $4 million in capital expenses, is the correct bus for the GBT, primarily GBT, with a ramp approved in that budget?
So we got a certain dollar amount, right? And we're allowed to use that dollar amount for vehicles any way we want to. So we have a call tomorrow about the process for procuring new vehicles if we were approved for them. I don't think, if we get a new bus, that would be all we got. One bus, that's it, with the money that we have approved. So we have to decide, right, if we want to do that, or we want to replace some of the other smaller vehicles that we use to take people to appointments that are currently not functioning as well as we would like them to. So no decision has been made finally, but I will communicate that as we determine how we are going to spend that money.
A follow-up question on that. We got a memo that the practice, if you will, from GBT doing the steps was canceled. I think that effort should go forward before a final decision is made, Because I know some people in GBT cannot do the steps, period, because they shuffle.
Yeah.
So, just a suggestion. Thank you.
Understood, and we're gonna make sure everybody gets that opportunity this week, and then, we will make a decision on that post everybody getting that opportunity.
Thank you.
If I may interject on that for a second,
Yeah.
I'm passing out the flyers today for GBT. We're gonna reschedule for Friday.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. I'm gonna tee Teresa up for our little refresher on the preferred dining program. So we talked a lot about it from September all the way to December. We had 4 general meetings in the auditorium where we covered the whole program. People asked questions, we answered questions. We sent out lots of memos and written communication and menus and times that places were gonna be open. We did the individual floor meetings, where we talked exclusively pretty much about how the program's gonna work. We incorporated a lot of your suggestions into the program before we came to what we said is sort of our final jump off point, how we're gonna roll this program out. So this is the opportunity that we're gonna go through it one more time, and answer any questions you have, and I'll talk about a little bit about the declining balance and sort of where that money came from. So what we're trying to do is sort of right price the meals that you're receiving in the dining room. So it's not money that's coming from anywhere, it's just a portion of your monthly fee, because you all have a monthly fee that includes a meal plan, right? And so we're just pricing the meal that you're eating based more on market and what we're paying for those items versus just making up a number like $7.50. So it's not an increase to our budget in any way. It's not impacting your monthly service fee in any way. I mean, food costs impact your monthly service fee, but this declining balance piece does not impact the monthly fee. So with that, I'm going to call Teresa up. She's going to go through this, and we'll answer any questions that you have once she gets through the presentation. Hi. How many of you stopped in the sports bar last week? We got a good amount of hands. So that is the patty melt that we are serving in the sports bar. Thank you to Chef Jamie and his team in the kitchen. I think we knocked that out of the park. No pun intended with the sports bar there. So we wanted to give you some stats on our first week, because as I want to be completely transparent, change happens in a way, I mean, it's going to be very fluid depending on what we're rolling in other areas. And because we are, in a sense, rolling this out in bits and pieces, we're not seeing the full exposure of the sports bar and the resident participation that we would like to see, but we were very happy with what we got in. So for those of you that do not know, the sports bar is open Monday through Saturday, 1 to 7 p.m. Seating is first come, first serve. We've had a couple days, 2 days last week, where we're completely full, and we had plenty sitting at the bar. We have a la carte pricing in there, and during our first week, our stats are 228 residents have stopped to eat. We had sold 51 patty melts, 27 pork sliders, 30 pot stickers, 25 chicken sandwiches, and 25 soup and salads. Those are the leaders of the pack. The rest of the items are a little bit more below. We've been hearing a lot of feedback. We've made a couple tweaks. Example, soup and salad will come with a roll. And that was just something that was suggested early on, and we've adapted that. Until February 29th, because it's a leap year. Does anybody have a birthday on February 29th? I always wonder about. You do? Do we have one in the crowd? No? I had a great-great-grandma that did. I thought that was cool. Oh, really? Your son-in-law? That's cool. And a niece. So we do have a couple that know people born on the 29th. We're offering a drink of the day for those that eat in the sports bar between the hours of 1 and 3:30. So if you're coming in and you're eating mid-afternoon, we have a special Jacob's drink of the day, because Jacob is our bartender. So yeah, he does a good job, right? And he's he went to bartending school, so he's trying some new drinks out to see what we like. I know we're on the, we still don't have our liquor license yet. We're working on that. We're hoping by summer we will have that and we'll have a full bar open. But for those of you that want to come down mid-afternoon and maybe have a cheese board or a snack, and splitting is definitely allowed in there. We have a lot of couples or friends that come down and say, hey, let's split a patty melt today because we're still going to come to dinner, and that's definitely an option. Wind Down Mondays will now be called happy hour in the sports bar.
That's good.
Yeah, so we're gonna, thanks Jeff. So now we are gonna have happy hour on the Mondays that we normally would have wind down from 2:30 to 3:30 with a guest bartender. So it'll be one of the directors coming down, and we'll have wine and beer available and the specialty drink of the day. So maybe you'll wanna come down and get a snack or just like kind of check out the sports bar. It's a good opportunity to get in there as we're opening up our dining program. Next slide. So this has been designed by Resident Programs. They're helping us out with our theming. We really like the logo, and just letting everyone know that it's out there. We're going to have these posted outside of the dining room. But we want to talk about upcoming sporting events. Like, we need your help because we've had a lot of, this menu kind of came through with all of the support and the feedback from all of you residents. So we have a group of residents that said, if there's a sporting event, I want to go into the sports bar and I want to watch that. Well, what does that entail? What are the sporting events that you want us to kind of, have a sign up for and create a little like a viewing party for? If you're interested in that and promoting these viewing parties and kind of helping dictate find out like which events are going to work best for our community, I would love to create a group to do that. Please see me if you're interested. You can email me, stop by my office. I'd like to get something together so then, we can kind of promote these areas. And I want to do it by quarter. So, we get something out like a list, like this will be the viewing party for this day and whatnot. Like the Super Bowl's coming up. We're definitely going to do a Super Bowl watch party in the sports bar, but there may be some other events like March Madness, that type of stuff. So if you're interested, see me on that. Next slide. Okay, now we're going to talk about the new and improved buffet. So we are going to be rolling out the buffet on the 5th of February, and we will have 3 nights available in the buffet, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. On the first cycle, the buffet will have a pasta night for both of the Mondays because our cycles last for 2 weeks. On Wednesday, we'll always be surf and turf. It will be prime rib, but it's going to be paired with, like this week, for example, will be this cycle will be paired with fried shrimp, but the following cycle it may be blackened salmon. And then on Friday, we're going to do a taco night. Now, everything in the buffet is all inclusive, right? So you're going to get your soup, your salad, and your desserts. We are working on the renovations for the Maui to get it ready for this rollout, and I'll talk a little bit about that later on. Next slide. Sunday brunch. Sunday brunch will also coincide with the cycles as well. So we'll have the same brunch for cycle 1 for 2 weeks, right? We're going to send this out via email as well for those of you that want to have a digital copy. And we're also going to print up the first cycle of menus. They will be outside of Pamela's office starting on Friday. So then you can pick them up. You can start doing your calculations if you want, or just to become comfortable with the first cycle. So our first made-to-order item from the kitchen is going to be the stuffed French toast, and Sunday brunch is all-inclusive, and it does cost $19. No food can be taken out of the buffet. Everything is dine-in, and our Sunday brunch, first Sunday brunch, will start tentatively on February 3rd. Next slide. Premier Dining. So Premier Dining, which is going to be the Williamsburg, Tea Rose, Nile, and when the Maui is not open, the Jade will also be incorporated into that. Our hours of operation are Monday through Saturday, 11 to 1 for lunch, and dinner is 4 to 6:30. Can't finish a meal, we're gonna box it up for you. It's been working out in the sports bar as well for those that cannot finish everything. We have a la carte pricing, and we have 2-week menu choices. Go to the next slide. This is a sample of what the first cycle menu is. This is actually the menu with the pricing. So we'll send this out digitally, and then we'll have copies available for you in the outside of Pam's office. Next slide. Dessert. So desserts are not included as part of your daily meal. Buffets will have smaller desserts available on the buffet. So if you go to the buffet, it's all inclusive. If you eat in the sports bar, if you eat in the premier dining, you will have a separate dessert menu to choose from. If you are in the buffet eating and you would like ice cream, or you would like the pie that we have, or a piece of cheesecake, that will be additional cost. We will have every day, we will be doing fruit pies, frosted cupcakes, and cakes, like a choice. There will be a choice of something that the server will let you know what that is. And then we'll also have cheesecake available daily, since that seems to be a resident favorite. We're gonna do a dessert of the day or a seasonal selection. And then we have our ice cream and cookies, and we're gonna have banana splits available as well, providing that we have, that's subject to availability, providing that we have bananas in-house. Next slide. American Grill, fast casual in general. So American Grill, hours of operation have pretty much stabilized. We're gonna keep them almost the same with the addition of Monday through Saturday, we're gonna open that general store until 2 o'clock. So at 1:30 is when we're closing that hotline, and they're gonna be closing down, but they're still in there available if you want to come in and get milk or get something from the general store to buy down your balance, but they're not gonna be able to continue cooking for you on those grills and stuff. Sunday, we have adjusted our hours. We're gonna open at 2 o'clock. We're gonna open from 2 to 6. Daily special is subject to availability. We don't know what we don't know going into this. So the first couple Sundays, we may be, running light on that special. But we're gonna increase our pars as we can, and we're gonna add some extra backup plans in there to accommodate, because we don't know how many are actually going to be participating. The general store is going to be stocked with the following items to spend down: soda, juice, milk, butter, eggs, grab-and-go items, and the things that you're seeing in there now. They are putting in additional orders to try to keep up and keep ahead of the game. We do have a new grill manager, Marissa, who started 2 weeks ago, and she's already placing the orders, and we're figuring out how to keep those general store items stocked. If you have any suggestions on things you'd like to see in the general store, please let us know, and we will do what we can to bring those in. So let's talk about takeout, because we did make some changes to how we're going to do the in-room dining takeout. So the grill is always an option for you to get a meal. You can order it through the portal and pick up. You can stand in line, order it, and wait for your meal. So that's 7 days a week. That's gonna be Monday through Saturday, 7:30 to 1:30, Sunday 2 to 6 p.m. Only pickup option on Sunday or in-room dining in the building is going to be in the grill in the afternoon. Sports bar. You can stop in, grab a drink, order a meal for takeout. Jacob loves to talk to all of you, so come on in and give him something to do, especially in the afternoon if you want to pick up a meal. Or you can place an order through the portal. Very similar to how you place for the American Grill. You just find the sports bar tab. You can place that order for pickup and then come down and get your meal. Now, we do allow, if you have placed an order for pickup between 1 and 3:30, you will get that nice drink that Jacob is promoting for the day, because you are participating in the sports bar, and we appreciate that. If you would like to place an order during dinner service in the sports bar, we are fine with that. You can do that, but you're gonna be waiting with the other crowd. So where it would take 15 minutes to get your order out, maybe early afternoon, it may take 25 minutes to get it out in the evening, because we have 5 other dining rooms open. The formal dining room, we are going to kind of merge with what we did pre-COVID and what we're doing post-COVID. So we are going to have, I know that you have seen the 2 shelves outside of Pamela's office. That is where we are going to stock all of the bags for pickups. We also have a little table out there, which we're going to be adding in the daily in-room dining menus that you can fill out. There are going to be stipulations on the menus to fill them out by a specific time the day of, so then they can get ready for pickup between 1 and 3 o'clock. You can also place your orders ahead of time. If you know that you are not going to be eating all week and you want to place your orders ahead of time, you can do that. You can call the hostess stand. The host does not always have time to call back. We have 530 residents and one host. So if you are planning not to come down to dinner, we are going to have those menus available to you. And we're going to have a really nice setup out there, which is going to be very, very self-explanatory where you put the menus and how to put the meal and the orders in. We want to have everything completely accessible to you. Eventually, we will move to portal, placing it directly through the full count portal. Pamela is getting that set up now, so then you can place an order for pickup and choose the time on the portal, and then you just come down and pick up. Buffet, we do not have takeout available on the buffet. Next. Okay, so this is a slide on the initial rollout. So there's a lot of moving parts here. So as we've been doing our dining program one way for 32 years, we are now completely changing everything that we're doing, right? So there's a lot of change for residents and a lot of change for our associates. So we need a little bit of a grace period to be able to do this. And this is what we've come up with. So on Tuesday, January 30th and Wednesday, January 31st, we are going to alter meal service for that day. It will be pickup only, and it will be in the buffet. And it will be a regular daily meal, but we're asking you to pick up and take it back to your apartment. That evening, we are going to open up at 4 o'clock, and we are going to host a soft rollout. That soft rollout is going to be invitation only. We are inviting all of the residents of our dining council, some of our RAC committee members, and some past RAC council or dining committee council members. We are also going to choose 40 residents from a drawing. We're cutting up all the papers now. We're gonna choose, and then we're going to call you and see what day works best for you. So we're hoping to get a total of 200 residents in the dining room between the 30th and the 31st. And you are going to be helping us train our servers. So as we are going through the next 2 weekends, on Sunday, we're coming in the afternoon, we're doing some mock trainings with our servers. But we need to be able to get our kitchen, they need to get their feet wet as well, right? So we're going to do a streamlined version of this menu. We're gonna do something from every single selection. We're gonna do the center cut pork chop. We're gonna do the lasagna. There's gonna be about 8 menu selections on there. When you come in, we just want it to be like a regular dinner, but we also, as management, are gonna be following up with you to see how everything was. We wanna see what the ticket times are gonna look like. We wanna see what the execution's gonna look like. So this is called like a soft rollout. This is what they do in mainstream restaurants as well. The list of the residents are gonna be posted by Friday, January 19th. So we're gonna be going through and making calls. You will be permitted to invite a certain amount of residents depending on where our numbers are, because we really want to keep it at 100. The date and time for your reservation is determined by the dining team, and the cost for this rollout dinner is going to be $750 because you are still on the old meal plan, right? So there's not going to be additional costs incurred for these 2 nights. February 1st, we'll start the program. We will reset everything, and you'll be on your declining balance here, 510 or 383. So that's a lot of information I just gave out, right? So we're gonna follow it up in the memo with the information on the 30th and the 31st. I'm gonna follow up on Friday with a little blurb in the weekly as well. We are also gonna put the menus for the preferred dining program for all 3 of the locations for cycle 1 outside of Pamela's office by Friday. So we're giving it to you, like 12 days ahead of time, so then you can prepare. If you have questions or you're feeling uneasy, I would say like now's the time, not in this meeting, we might be here a while, to stop by my office, stop by Pamela's office. We can definitely meet with you. We'll take the time to go through whatever is concerning. I would say the first thing you want to do is also, grab those menus when we have them available, so then you can look through them. I think that it's going to be bumpy at first for all of us, but once we find our footing, I think it's going to be a really great program. We were pleasantly surprised by the feedback in the sports bar. You know, it was really, really good. And for those that, the sports bar is not your thing, that's fine. That's why we have the 3 different dining programs. It's not gonna be for everybody. Everything isn't gonna, it's not a one size fits all in dining. You know, we did talk earlier, I heard the the communication on the bar stools. If it's hard for you to get up in a bar stool, don't sit in a bar stool. Like, that's what the chairs are for at the table. So instead of like, you know, poo-pooing the bar stools and saying this is horrible, maybe that's not where you should be sitting. I mean, you know, I can't ride a roller coaster with my kids because I don't do well on them. So I just don't go on them, but I'm not gonna tell them not to go. I'm gonna let them go on it. It's the same thing in the pub, same kind of concept. Couple things that we are gonna be doing that are not on the slide is Angie did touch base on the the sports bar carpeting is here, or will be here next week. We're gonna need, it's gonna be projected that we need probably like 2 full days to do that, so we might have to go dark in the bar. I'm trying to get them to do it on a Sunday and Monday, so we're only dark for 1 day, but you know, we have to see what their crews have lined up. Also the Maui, on the 1st and 2nd of February, right now, we have the electrician lined up, and we just picked our granite slab because we're completely changing out the way the Maui looks. So we're putting that salad bar in. There's a lot of things that are going on in the Maui room that we're hopeful will be completed by the 3rd for us to be able to open for Sunday brunch. With that being said, we all know what it's like for construction, right? We're trying to do a lot of things at the same time. There's a lot of moving parts. If we have to alter meal service on Sunday brunch, we are going to make that decision probably around the beginning of that week, the 29th of January, to let you know that. And we would probably just move it over to the Premier Dining program and not have a brunch that day. Does anyone have any questions for me? Oh, goody. Hold on, let me get my martini. We need people with mics.
Teresa,
Yes,
I know you've explained IRD.
Yes.
And you may have already explained my question, I might have missed it. But when the IRDs are put into the shelves,
Mhm.
how do you envision we are gonna pick them up? Is it gonna be like 30 there at a time, and we just go pick it up, or somebody helping us, or?
okay, so I'll paraphrase. So he's asking, how do we envision you all picking up your menus? So, I know, I was gonna read, thank you. Everybody's, woo. How you're gonna pick up your in-room dining meals. So what we're going to do is we're actually trying to source a smaller bag right now, so it's gonna fit neatly into that shelf. And then there's gonna be a sticker on the outside of it that's gonna say your apartment number. And it's going to be like facing out, and as you come down, you just go and you pick it up. I can't determine how many residents are gonna be coming down at once, because there are residents that will place an order and may not come down for a half an hour to get it. So we are hopeful that we'll have about 25 to 30 during that period of time, but it's not a long conversation. We're not down there, you know, having a drink and picking up our bags. We're just going to pick up a bag, so it should be a pretty fast transaction.
We know everyone's working real hard on this. Thank you very much. The food has been wonderful,
Thank you.
and it's one of the great assets here.
Thank you.
All booze and drinks will be complimentary in the pub.
Currently, yes, until we get our liquor license. We will not have a full bar with liquor until we do have our liquor license, but through February 29th, we are offering an alcohol, like a liquor beverage of the day.
Okay. This is just a comment. It seems we have a change in the definition of a meal that no longer includes a dessert.
Yeah, we talked through this because we are looking at the price, and we went with restaurant pricing, very similar to restaurant pricing.
I understand.
With the menu, and that's why the your monthly was increased.
I understand. I'm still making the point that the definition of a meal used to include a dessert. It no longer includes a dessert in Premier Dining.
And
That
you
to me
get a choice.
sounds like a contract issue.
Not a contract issue. Our contract states that we need to provide a meal in the dining room every day.
Yes, and the question is, what defines a meal? And
That-
prior to this, a meal included a dessert.
But that's not stated in the contract. So
I
the
understand.
contract
It
states.
says a meal.
It says a meal.
I started by saying it's a change in the definition of a meal.
So what we're required to do is give you 60-day notice of any change in the scope of service we're providing, which we did with a letter that said that.
You didn't specifically say you were changing the definition of a meal.
We said we're changing the dining program, and here's
Yes.
what the new dining program looks like. So and I don't wanna get in an argument, you know, however, we don't do things in a vacuum, right? We have our own compliance department that looks into all these things and provides us the templates for notices that we have to send out. So I'm very comfortable with the communication we've provided on this program. I think we've communicated a lot. And by no means, we get it. It's a huge change. It's different than the way things used to be. But I'm comfortable saying that I think as everybody gets used to this program, including our staff, you're gonna see it's gonna work really well, and you know, you're gonna be able to eat what you want to eat based on the allowance that we're giving.
Thank you. IDR drop-off, you'll have a menu sheet that people can fill out and leave each day. Did I understand that correctly?
Yes, outside of Pamela's office.
And will we be able to submit that electronically, either through email or a fax machine?
No fax machine.
How about
we really
email?
don't- And no, you can order it through the online portal, full count.
So for someone from GVT, they either
Yes.
have to come over and drop off the paper.
Or you can
do
order
it
it
through
through
the
full
portal.
count.
Those are the only options.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Next. Okay, love being here, the staff is wonderful, I know you guys try every single day. However, I speak for a number of people, and I did a little calculation, and if you're spending $19 a day, not even 31 days, 30 days, you are over your budgeted amount. And again, the dessert issue, you can't have dessert perhaps because you're spending on the meal. This goes for 21 days and for 30 days, but for instance, if you pay $19 for 30 days, it's going to be over the allotted amount. And I think that's a big concern for people. By the way, dishes, or not the dishes, but the glassware still is very dirty.
I need to get to the page. I do apologize, but I want to make sure I respond correctly. So as I'm getting to the menu, if you could go back to the menu page with the two menus that we've provided. Okay. So I know you're not going to see a lot of this because it is small. But when you look on the menu, you just quoted $19 a day. There are meals that start off at $13, and there are meals that go up to $29. So there are meals in between, and from a high end to a low end. It depends on how you want to eat. Just like when you go to a restaurant, right? We want fine dining and we want restaurant type service. When you come to the dining room now, it's an all-inclusive. We're gonna get it all even if we're not gonna eat it, because we're not taking it home. So the option that we went with was we wanted to have a higher and a lower end item. I have residents that like to come down fewer times a week and eat higher end items. So they're going to eat things that, like the filet, that's $29. And they're going to eat the lamb chops, and they're gonna eat the smoked like ribs. Or I have residents that are very home style and would like an open face roast beef sandwich for $12, which has a choice of soup or salad. No, you do not get dessert with that, but it's $12. So you can add on your dessert at $3, which is $15, and then you can also add on a salad if you just have the soup option, and you're still gonna be at $17. So I think we're looking at worst case scenarios. So as we look at the overall, I ask you to look at how you eat. Let's not worry about how my neighbor eats and how Betty down the hall eats. Worry about how you're gonna eat and how this is going to work for you. Because I don't know of anybody on this campus that's gonna eat a filet every single day. Because red meat, our cardiologist probably isn't gonna like that, right? So, that's why we have these levels and these tiers. If you're getting a piece of lasagna, and lasagna is $15 for a bowl, which you're gonna get a very nice, large portion of lasagna, and then you decide, you know what, I don't want that big piece of lasagna, because it only comes with a super salad, and I really want some sides with that. Well, I'm gonna get the boat, that's $12, and I'm gonna spend that extra $2, $3 on the sides for it. There are ways for you to manipulate a menu, just like when you go out to dinner to eat. I know this is a huge change, but what we were trying to do is encompass everything. Those that want to eat on the higher end less days a week and they're fine with cooking in their apartment, and those that want to eat home style and still can manipulate the menu to make it work so they can still get their filet on Fridays or on Wednesdays, whichever day of the week that you'd like. Or maybe go to the buffet and get prime rib on Wednesdays. Change is tough on everyone, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna look and we're gonna critique this and say the worst case scenario. But for some of the residents that were completely apprehensive about the sports bar, and I was really surprised at seeing some of the faces in there last week who were like hell-bent on not coming in because this is a pub, it's our pub, it's been a pub, we're never doing it, came in twice, enjoyed the meal, and said, wow, was I wrong? That's only 2 residents that I'm talking about, and I understand that's a very small percentage. But for the amount of residents that came into the pub, I'm very happy with that. I'm not gonna make everybody happy, but I also am not setting out to screw anybody over either. Like, we really looked at this. We really dove deep into this. We communicated and overly communicated to you, and this information isn't just being brought out to you today. There are other communities in our portfolio that have just started talking about this, and they're gonna be rolling it out within 60 days. They literally had their first meeting yesterday. We have been going through this now for 7 months. So as we are getting closer, I know it's getting concerning because it is going to impact you. It is going to impact how we prepare the food to get to you, but I ask you to give us a little bit of grace period in that. If we have to go back and we have to pivot on some things, we understand that, but we can't make any changes right now. Hi.
First of all, I want to thank you, girls, and whoever's working on this plan.
She said she wanted to thank us.
Yes, because you've done a lot of work on it, and I know you're trying really hard, and you will never please us all, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, and you said you want to eat the way you want to eat, and I think you know by now.
You gotta push into the
I
mic,
would
honey.
I would like to see some more non-meat, as for instance, a lasagna, you could make a veggie lasagna. You could have fish tacos or something once in a while. I hear the bar is wonderful, but they don't have much of that stuff in the sports bar.
So she's asking about vegan options. So we do have, every week, every cycle, we are gonna have a vegan bowl that we do have available. I know you can't eat that every single day. We are gonna have, now you said vegan and fish, because I know that you're a pescatarian. So we do have fish options available every day, and we do have things like the Southwestern Chicken Bowl. So if you're like, you know what, I'm vegan, so what can I do to make that vegan for you? I can omit the cheese, I can get rid of the ranch, we can add in tofu or a meat byproduct, right, like a soy-based meat. But again, that's for you to, just like you would go to a regular restaurant and ask the same thing. They may have one vegan dish, but you frequent that restaurant every week and don't want to eat the same thing. You're going to be able to alter this menu a little bit easier. So it's not going to be like, we have 3 vegans today, okay, let's come up with something. We do have some things on our menu that we are able to work in between, and if you have a special menu like that, we need to meet separately with Chef Jamie, and we can go through how you can alter your menu to make it work more for you. Because I know you're not the only one.
Teresa in the back.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Ellen, and
Hi, Ellen.
can we exchange when there's something in fries, instead of the fries, have a salad?
Where at? In the sports bar?
Yes,
Yes.
and other places.
Well, you're not picking fries. So fries is one of the options on the sides, so you just wouldn't pick the fries. Nothing automatically comes with fries in the Premier Dining. In the sports bar, you have, everything does come with fries because it is a sports bar. However, there are substitutions that you can have. So we have steamed broccoli, cottage cheese, coleslaw, and fresh fruit of the day. So we'll add that addendum to the menu. We just haven't gotten around to that yet, but we have let those that are coming into the sports bar know that. Thank you. Martha, your person.
I'm wondering if, as in the past, if we could order half meals.
No, we have some meals that we do have bowls versus boats, which is a smaller one, but if it makes sense to get a half meal, we can do it, which is on the bowls or boats. When you have a protein, it does not make sense for us to take a 6-ounce filet, cut it in half, and just hope that somebody else is gonna order the other half of that. So that's why you're getting boxes to bring home your meals.
Three?
Yes.
Okay, I think I've asked you this before, but
Mhm.
okay. Right now, when I go down to eat, I will order a Coke or, something to drink with my meal,
It's included.
and then I will have coffee with my dessert.
You can have coffee.
So if I go to the sports bar and I order something, can I get a Coke or I can get ginger ale or
Yeah.
something?
Mm-hmm.
And then, but not coffee afterwards, because that would be with the dessert. So in other words, I get one drink.
No, if you would like to have coffee, drinks are not part of this.
So in other words, that will be free, wherever we go.
Include it.
It could be two different drinks. One could be a
Yes.
soda and then coffee
Mhm.
afterwards.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Who was next? Was it Martha? I don't know who was next. Oh, let's go over here. Dennis.
I was under the impression that we could order a salad instead of fries. We have eaten in the sports bar twice and liked the food,
Uh-huh.
but both times I was told there was no salad option.
There is a soup and salad option. We didn't have a side salad as an option to go on that. So we can look at possibly doing that. It would be smaller than the regular side salad that we have.
So then instead of fries, we could order a salad.
I said we are going to look into a salad option. We do have the substitutions in the sports bar are steamed broccoli, steamed broccoli, coleslaw, applesauce, cottage cheese, and fresh fruit. Those are the 5 items that we have for the substitutions on the side. It's kind of like when you go to the grill.
Okay.
We utilize that same
I thought
concept.
I had read that we could order a salad instead.
No, we have a soup and salad option available in there. Wait, right over here. I heard it. He was already waiting. Sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Collins.
Regarding the portal and ordering online, could you put in there, because I've heard several people talk about drinks, iced tea, what do you want to drink with your meal to go? And another thing you might want to think about, if a person or a couple orders a meal out of the grill and then orders a premier meal to go, you might want to link them together someplace and just have one bag.
So that's not gonna work. I mean, it's kind of like you're gonna go to McDonald's and your spouse is gonna go to Burger King. Like, you're just gonna get 2 bags.
Okay.
But thank you, I appreciate that.
And last, the bar stays open to 7, but you gotta pick it up before 3:30.
That's a portal order that's during our downtime. If you wanna come on into the sports bar and you wanna sit there and place your order and wait up to 25 minutes for it and have a beverage, you can. But that's the time that we do a majority of our takeout orders. And that will not change due to the fact that our volume is very heavy at dinner and we don't wanna really impact dinner service. But we will offer you that if you come in and you're waiting there for it. We know there will be one-offs. I have Penny up here. She was next.
Okay, the last thing I have to ask,
Yeah.
because somebody said to me that, now, we're gonna get a receipt or a bill,
Yes,
we're gonna sign it,
yes.
we agree that we ordered,
Mhm.
we got.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said, is there gonna be tax on that bill?
No,
Okay,
that's your
good.
declining balance. There's tax on it when a guest comes in. We
Okay,
tax a
that's
guest, we
where-
do not, and you haven't seen tax on your bill.
No,
No,
but somebody mentioned it, so I thought
Yeah,
I'd
no.
mention it.
No
Okay,
tax.
And I can order off the premier menu in any dining room. Is that true?
no, the premier dining is out of the Williamsburg Tea Rose Nile and on the Jade when the Maui is dark, when it's not open.
Okay, all right,
Mm-hmm.
good job.
Just for clarification, is there a meal available for lunchtime eaters on every day?
The premier dining is the menu that is for lunch, we're gonna be using for lunch.
Okay.
Yes.
Will there ever be a buffet for lunch?
No. We have Sunday brunch, yes.
Thank you.
Sunday brunch. Yes. Hi.
Hi. This may be a silly question, but we've eaten in the sports bar a couple of times.
Yes.
And we thoroughly enjoyed it.
Okay.
I had a chili cheese dog the other day.
Uh-huh.
The chili was wonderful.
Uh-huh.
Can I get a bowl of chili instead of the chili cheese dog?
Yes, I'm kind of getting a thumbs up from January now, but we need to go back to look at production, because we just want to make sure that we don't say yes, and then everybody comes down to get a bowl of chili this week when it's cold, and then we run out. And then I get 500 emails saying we ran out of chili, we're terrible.
I would like a bowl of chili too, okay?
Jeff, no.
I have a question. Are the menu prices listed the same for guests as they are for residents?
Yes, it's the same menu price, it's just charged taxes included on that.
You can end on me.
Hi, Lee, how you doing?
Yes, fine. I just want to say that I've had dinner in the sports bar 4 nights.
Yes.
And every meal was different and really great, and I really enjoyed it. And I think if the rest of it comes out as half as good as this, we'll be in great shape. So please don't complain ahead of time. Thank you.
Thank you, Eileen. Yes, Sam.
Yeah, I think if we do our budgeting and we look at whether we're on a 31-day plan or a 21-day plan, I think it comes out to about $17 a day on an average. So if you want the $20 item, next day get a $15 item. So you balance it out. And what's the worst thing that can happen? If you go over it, so you need to pay a little bit extra because you've indulged a little bit more. So I think do your arithmetic and that'll work.
Thank you, Sam. Anyone else? Okay, we got some more questions. 2 more. I'm gonna go to therapy. That's for you in the front row.
Teresa?
We're gonna have a support group after this.
Teresa, just
Yes,
a quick
Teresa.
question. If you pick up IRD
Yes.
in the sports pub,
Uh-huh.
sports bar,
Yeah.
do you get a drink with it? I'm not talking alcohol, just
Yeah.
can you get a drink?
We haven't done that because it's very similar to the grill. Not everything comes with a drink, and these meals are supposed to be small and handheld, but that's something that we can definitely address. So as we said, we would pivot. Let me just get back and talk to Pamela about that and Chef and see what we can do to do that, okay? I do have that written down for Mr. Phelps' question, so thank you. I didn't know if somebody else had a microphone, I'm sorry. Sarah.
Can you just address charging for guests when we have guests? Will people be able to use credit cards for guests?
Yes, we
In all the venues?
Yes, we have a credit card machine in the sports bar. You can also charge it to your account, and it's whatever's on the menu plus tax.
You have to go into the sports bar to have it, how is it gonna happen in the dining room?
They just take the credit card over to the sports bar and they run it. They just can't, we don't have an outlet to have one in every dining room.
Okay.
But we may get to that. No. She asked if your guests can be charged off of the extra balance that you have, and we cannot do that. Because it's taxable.
What's the capacity of the sports bar?
The sports bar right now is 46. $46 is a sign up, so that it's a sign up watch party that you're gonna end up signing up through resident programs, so it's the first 46 that come in, and then after that, if people wanna just come in and hang out, that's fine, you can.
I got one more, hold on.
Okay, one more.
She's coming.
There you go.
I just wanna find out, will the menu change every day if we eat on the main dining?
No, the menu stays the same. That 2-page menu with a 14, 15 selection stays the same for 2 weeks. So it's really 12 days because on the Sundays, you have a brunch menu, which is a different menu, which will have ham on it every Sunday for those that love ham. I'm looking at you, Miss Nick. Gotcha. All right, I think that's it. Oh, you got one back there? We got one more from Ed.
Teresa, I just wrote your report card.
You did?
Yes.
Oh gosh, I hope I'm passing.
You are tackling this change there like a bulldog. Stay with the challenge. Don't give up. If you find it wrong, revise as soon as possible.
Right.
I have to close my remarks there with the following.
Okay.
Your interface with the residents is just plain exemplary. Keep it up.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you. All right, everybody, have a great afternoon. We'll see you in the dining room.